now recommending pregnant women not take Tylenol unless they cannot manage pain or fever on their own. President Trump says new research has linked the rising number of autism cases in the country to the active ingredient in Tylenol, acetaminophen. Research from Harvard and Mount Sinai suggests a potential link, but their findings were inconclusive. Acetaminophen has long been considered safe by the medical community during pregnancy, and the company that makes Tylenol maintains more than a decade of rigorous research endorsed by leading medical professionals. Say there is no credible evidence linking acetaminophen to autism. We're joined now by dual board certified OBGYN, Dr. Greg Marchand, with the latest. And because of everything I just said, doctor, and what we heard yesterday, I imagine that there's going to be a lot of hesitancy, especially amongst pregnant women now.
Well, absolutely. I was very pleased by the announcements made yesterday. I really thought it was a very pro-science set of announcements. And there is going to be hesitancy in pregnant women using Tylenol in pregnancy. And there's going to be a lot more counseling now from OBGYNs. We're going to be counseling patients about the data that already exists on this. There's a number of studies that, as you stated, don't have a very high level of evidence, but there is some evidence there. So there's enough to at least bring this up with patients and make sure they understand that there may be a risk and that the National Institute of Health and the CDC are looking into this. And we're expecting to know a lot more very soon.
What would be the advice to a pregnant woman who presents with a high fever that can't go down on its own?
Well, if you're prior to 28 weeks, well, then we still have other tools we can use. Ibuprofen, naproxen, even aspirin can be used prior to 28 weeks. But after 28 weeks, we start to get to the time period where those medications could affect the fetus's cardiovascular system and the ductus arteriosus, which needs to transfer at time of birth. So for those cases greater than 28 weeks that have a high fever, Tylenol might be the only thing we have available at this time. So in those cases, probably still will need to use Tylenol. As some of the data has indicated, probably best to use as little as you can get away with to keep the fever under control and keep the duration as short as possible to minimize the risk.
Yeah, I mean, do you find that this is, in your estimation, as you practice this, is this a complicated time to practice medicine? Are we hearing from too many people, or should we stick to what we know already?
No, we're OBGYNs, so it's our duty to stay on top of this data, and no matter how much data hits us, we're going to be on top of this so we can give the best advice to our patients and do the best we can for women's health. This is new data. We're looking at the, just a recent meta-analysis in 2023 that showed the 4 studies that did show some connection, not causality yet, but a connection. So this is something OBGYNs need to be on top of. We're happy to be practicing medicine during this exciting time, and we're excited to be counseling our patients appropriately. Again, there's not high-level evidence supporting the link between Tylenol and autism yet, but women do need to be aware that this is under investigation. Studies are underway, and some association has been found in studies.
All right, and I know that some people will dispute some of those claims given those studies and more on the control factor and what they found when the mother had several pregnancies and when that acetaminophen was taken and the results, and some of them resulting with having taken Tylenol in a child that did not have autism and not having taken it and a child that did. And I think that may be some of that contrast information that people are pushing back on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm so happy about the way this was presented and kind of an open-ear discussion. No one's banning Tylenol. No one's put out a guideline that says you're going to be in trouble, lose your license, get sued if you prescribe Tylenol. But there is some evidence, enough that us as OBGYNs need to bring this information to our patients so they can be in the loop. And I'm very happy that Robert Kennedy and Donald Trump and Jay Bhattacharya, brought that to our attention. And as OBGYNs, we're going to run with the ball now, make sure the patients are well advised, make sure the patients understand what evidence exists and when it might be reasonable to hold off on Tylenol. All
right, Dr. Marchand here on the DMVZone. We appreciate it. Thank you. When we come back, we'll check in with producer Chris and see what we can check tonight on Do You Like It or Not? After the break, stay with us.